for so long and hasn't changed. Most people have just not really think it through that it is necessary for them to consider the fact that the writings of the book or the scripture has everything to do with your way of life or how you do things. And I said one time, as I said, when I believed in myself, I believed myself one time, and I was sort of opening up to others about what I think. I said, let your ways or your words match with your character or your ways of doing things. You can't be saying something and then believing in something else, doing something else. If I'm evil or I'm mean, I have to be able that my meanness and my evilness will always reflect. I'm not going to speak in a sympathetic way or some sort of trying to make myself look better. And I know that I'm not better. No. I'm not trying to smile when I don't want to smile. I don't have to pretend to be what I'm not. You have to be. Let your character be exactly as it is. Smile when you have to smile. Be very, give the Gimson sort of appearance of look when it is necessary. If you are in pain, demonstrate that you are in pain. If you are happy, demonstrate that you are happy. If you are not satisfied with something, that is the true character of which is inside you. Let it out. That is what I believe, that you can be able to do that, to do away with the hypocrisy. Because hypocrisy gives us a very deceptive, sense of idea in most of the things we do. It sort of misguides us in so many ways that we find ourselves trapped based on those grounds. And such character cannot be tolerated, because I feel that if I was to sort of find myself spending all my time trusting somebody only on the base of his continuous outward appearance, then I'm doomed for good. The person will see you and begin to flatter you in whichever way, only to have his way with you. Then you can imagine that this is what goes on. That is why it's so difficult in life. That is why you cannot distinguish between evil and good. You cannot tell yourself what is evil within you and what is good within you. Neither can you be able to point hands on the devil or on God. You find people always getting away with things. The devil has always get away with things. So people end up spending time pointing somewhere else as if the devil is somewhere, whilst within our own lives, we reflect the devil every day, and we also reflect God every day. But we reflect even the devil more than we reflect on God in ourselves. Because the characters that we bear does not truly reflect what really we can proudly say as being the hand of God. Now, I'm not saying it in my own sort of viewpoint. It's clearly revealed here that what God you worship, and when the God that you worship, you have to do everything to demonstrate him such as he is. You don't demonstrate him differently. You have to let him be as he is. Let God be God. Let the God that you worship be the God that you are worshiping. Define him as he is. But most of the time, we are falling short of that, and we are sort of following a tradition. Whether the tradition is wrong or right, normally we don't really think of that. It's also maybe by some designer or something that we are so touched on or sort of moved by, and we sort of go by that without thinking it through, realizing whether those are factually practicable, can be practiced in any way or not. We just let anything just carry on with anything without seriously looking into it to see how that thing will benefit it or not benefit us. God is a very touchy subject. It's a very serious topic. It's something that you cannot just look elsewhere. So if we want to look at these things carefully and say that, okay, It is a true just cause. There isn't any error of omission there which sort of might make us stumble. Then we are deceiving ourselves. There is. I'm unveiling it. I'm putting it out there. I'm opening you up to it. I mean, you haven't asked those questions. Ask those questions now. You may be a different person now. You may not be somebody who is centered in religion or whichever way. And you just go about your business and you have the fun that you should have. Yes, continue having that fun. Be happy. Do all that is necessary. But deep inside you also, you do have some conviction. It may be cultural, it may be religious. That is what this is about. I'm touching on that part, and so that when that moment arises, you will not be caught unaware. You will always be aware because you have listened and you have been aware that, okay, there is somebody who has gone through that experience and he has shared that experience with me. And for that matter, I had to respect the fact that that experience may repeat itself, maybe not in that person, but in someone like my life or in somebody's life. And so you sort of get yourself on guard at all times. The things I've read here in the Bible is quite, it's strange and in a way remarkable, to realize that these are the statements there, and you can read it many times straightforward without thinking it, as I have tried to explain to you. Now, am I trying to change the scripture? I'm not changing the scripture. Sorry, I'm not changing the scripture. I've read it to you straightforward. I've related to other things, but I have told you the meaning, and I've also told you that you've always have on the back of your mind the conscience of knowing that Jehovah that the Bible talks about, it talks about him in a sense that he is omnipotent, he is omniscient, and he is a provider, and there are even more names or descriptions of him, and in these three sense of definition or idea of Jehovah that the Bible presents, you must always have that at the back of your mind and use that to sort of support your questions or to be able to encourage you to ask the questions as you're supposed to. And when you ask those questions, you will come to that point of realizing that, it is true that the errors are there. It is true that the book is contradictive, so that I won't be singled out in this journey of unveiling the truth. I won't be singled out and I won't be left alone. That you will be, be side by side with me to this through this journey, through it all, because we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to discover and openly declare, what is right, what is true. The world is being consumed by a spirit. We are being consumed every day, through all sort of means. And there's something that strongly distracts us from doing what we have to do. I have put a video out there for how long? But I look at the pattern of participants and I realize that it is so poor. It is compared to going to any monastery or any religious sect group or building and finding it empty. The pulpit there, the chair is empty. Nobody's sitting there. Even this, which is not the same of the way of which the religious presentation is, I don't see people getting their interest there. They are occupied. They probably are interested, but they are occupied. Something occupies you so that you cannot know the truth, so that you will not come across such video. Something occupies you. Either the job, either something that, you're interested in, either something that is lustfully drawn. You are drawn to lustfully. You're drawn to it through some lustful lust means. Something is always getting you engaged in something that you will not even have the time of 10 minutes time to sort of look at, or sometimes it will sort of keep you in a situation where you will not even have the time to think about it, so they won't even click to your mind that, oh, is that what this is about? Oh, I see, this is very necessary. I have to know this so I can be aware of my life, or in case I'm being surprised by anybody at some point, I'll have an answer to such a situation. You are not giving yourself time because you don't have that moment. All the time has been taken from you, and that is a way to distract you. That is one point is used to distract you from all this. So you have to look out for this.